Okay, let's put this all together with a new program that's going to use graphics and have a separate method that we can use to relocate our graphical objects. So create the name of your class, graphic methods, extends graphics program. Make sure you have the import statements. And let's create our run method. Public void run. Once again, this is where the applet begins. I'm going to insert its two curly braces. Then I'm going to declare some integers for the location of my graphical object. So we have our X location, we'll set that at 10, and we'll set a Y location. At 10, and let's create the object. G rectangle, rectangle 1 is what I'll call it, is equal to new G rect. And it's going to be 100 by 50 pixels in size. We're going to have it filled with color, so we'll set that to true. And then we'll set the color to color.green. And once again, this is our object dot method syntax with a parameter inside there. This is the key to object-oriented programming right there. Object.method and parameter. So then we're going to add it. We'll add our parameters there. What are we adding? Rectangle 1. And where? We'll put it in location X and location Y. And let's throw in a pause. 750 milliseconds. And then after the pause, we want to move it. And rather than code the movement here, we'll put that in a separate method. And we're going to put in our method call right here. We're going to call our new method move my rectangle. And we're going to pass some parameters over. We're going to have to send over what we want moved and where we want it moved to. So that'll be the X and that'll be the Y coordinates. How do we know that? We'll have to specify that on the receiving one. I'm going to compile that and fix my errors. Alright, so the one error I had was I didn't have the slashes before my comment. And this showed up an error because I haven't defined that method. I'm actually going to rename that to move my rectangle. Okay, so to define that, I'm going to go outside the run method, and I'm going to indent just for readability. I'm going to call this one public void move my rectangle, and I have to receive an object. So I'm going to type in the type of object. It's a G rectangle and the name. Rect1, just like we were receiving integer x. Instead of integer x, it's grect, and instead of x, that's the name, comma, integer, and I'm going to use the same variable names here, location x, integer, location y. Then I'm going to give it its curly braces. And in there, the code I want to use, just simple move. Object.method, rectangle1.move, and then we're going to use the parameters we sent down. So this parameter we passed in allows us to call upon the object, and then we just have to throw in location x, copy and paste that, comma, location y. Now we'll compile and run that. And after a pause, it should move. There it went. It's very quick. Now what's powerful about methods is that this method call and this calls upon this method. But once this method is defined, we can use this method call as many times as we want, over and over and over again. So say this were 1,000 lines of code. We could access that just by one line. Now it's not going to do anything for us in this program because it's going to keep moving it to the same spot, so we wouldn't notice anything. But we could do something like this. And this should give us an example. I'm going to throw a pause in here of how that code reuse is possible. There we go. So that's how we can use parameters and method calls over and over again. So the next thing what we want to do is we're going to create a new method call. I'm going to call it change rectangle color. There's our method call. So what you have to do is go down here to line 21 and create a method. So you're probably going to have to add this, pass this parameter over. And what I want the method to do, change it from green to a different color. And you shouldn't have any more code up in here unless you add some parameters that you want to pass. So you might have to do something like that. And then you're going to code your other method down here, still inside the class, but see if you can then create one that changes the color of your rectangle just by calling it, and then send me a screenshot, and that is it for this lesson.